you a Benjamin?
Yeah, but like...
Only when you're in trouble.
Sam Riley and Alexandra Maria Lara are a cinematic power couple. Sam has starred in films On the Road, Maleficent, and the soon-to-be-released Islands. Alexandra has been in films like Downfall, Rush, and Geostorm. The couple met whilst filming the Ian Curtis biopic Control, and have been married for 16 years. We caught up with the pair at the Edinburgh International Film Festival, where they were promoting Bulk, a new film by Ben Wheatley, in which they star alongside Noah Taylor and Mark Monero.
Hello, I'm Ben. This is Sam and Alexandra.
Hello.
This is What Do You Want to Talk About? What do you want to talk about?
Darling?
Well, I like talking about almost everything.
Almost everything.
I think I like talking about everything, and then probably I'm more specific when someone says something that I don't like, for example. But generally speaking, I like talking.
You like talking?
Yeah.
You're in the right job for it, I'd say.
Yeah.
How do you find you kind of pull that energy into performance, into kind of creating these characters and these stories?
I think for me, one of the reasons I really liked acting was it was much easier for me to be honest when I'm being someone else than it was as a regular person. I'm one of those classic people who use the excuse of playing people to let it all out. It doesn't matter who you're playing, you always relate it back to yourself somehow at the end. There are some where in Bulk, for example, Alex plays how many Aklimas are there?
Art is unstable. There's a chance of a reality quake.
We also play these army generals as well at one point. And there you can really be daft, it's really about being extreme and fun and everything. But otherwise, in order to try and be convincing, you're always sort of mining yourself, aren't you? I don't remember getting here. I don't know why I'm here. And in the end, I won't remember anything about it.
It's not necessarily the identification with the setting or the drama that is told in a film, but it's this human thing, And it is sitting in the car and then you switch on the radio and it's a song you would never tell anyone that it's a song that can make you cry, but you suddenly hear one lyric or something that's really simple, but can have this incredibly powerful effect because there's a very simple human truth in it. And yesterday when we had our premiere at midnight, it was so weird. It was like waiting all day long. This film means so much to us.
Yeah.
Because of Ben Wheatley, who Sam worked with 4 times, who I worked with for the 2nd time, and I'm so grateful for it. And anyway, we knew it's a very different kind of film, not the kind of film.
I watched it and and I kind of went into it thinking it would be one thing, because I'd heard like experimental stuff, and in my head it was when I was about 20 and was a bit of a twat. I made my boyfriend at the time, go to see a Jean-Luc Godard, like one of his later films, when it's just like 20 minutes of the sea.
The later ones are rough.
Yeah, and then I sort of got to the end of it and I was like, yeah, it really spoke to me actually about the realities of capitalism. It was the fucking sea. So I kind of thought it might be that. There's 30 seconds at the start where it's sort of doing a bit of those shots, and I was like, okay, and then it just wasn't, and it went, and it was so funny. And I think that's what really surprised me.
And I think it's also the magic, of sitting in a cinema with people, we had people in front of us looking at the faces. Do they react? Do they understand the film? Do they find that funny? But then yesterday, at the end of the story, I was really touched by the story,
Also, what I loved so much about it was it just sort of lent into itself, right? The sort of airfix models.
I had a translator on set, Sam, because he loves film so much, so he always knew references, and I know nothing about car models or plane or...
What airfix is. Why are they thanking airfix?
Airfix. We worked in Brighton Film School with young students, with young people who are at the beginning of their learning experiences. And then they get to work with someone like Ben, who managed to maintain this core thing, this beauty of let's have 5 young people work on a model you know, or when
sharing
we,
it.
it's
Not like
very
this
beautiful.
is how you make a film is a secret amongst the, you know, it's like anyone can do it. At the end of the movie, in the credits, it explains even how with an iPhone, if you shoot from these angles, you can improvise and cut it together later or something. It was all about infusing and sharing how, you know, because as you're saying with the big CGI stuff, I mean, no one can afford that unless you're Disney or Apple or Amazon.
But that doesn't mean that it's not amazing as well. You know.
Yeah, of course. With a movie like Bulk, there is the ability to tell people that you don't have to wait. Go and make a film. Go and do it. And here's how to do it. And I think
he is a genius as well. I mean, you know, we didn't have a very long shooting period. But I thought to myself, he knows exactly what he's doing there.
I think that's it. It's like as I was watching it, there's a scrappiness to the creation of it that sort of harks to people like just getting into the business, like just getting into film, being like, I want to make this. But there's a skill and a talent that comes from the combined decades of experience, right?
Play it straight as well. A bit like these, you know, the old sci-fi stuff, the first Star Treks or the early Doctor Who's and things. The actors are all doing it with a full conviction. So even though you can tell the backgrounds are all made of cardboard, you go along with it.
Yeah.
The forest scenes, he was explaining that when they were doing the old Johnny Weissmuller Tarzans on the lot, it was only like a jungle was about as big as this room. And if you shot it from a different angle, it looked like a different part of the jungle, but it was the same 6 trees. And we had plants that he'd got.
Ultimately, we had these young people bringing in plant pots and plant pots.
From like home base or something like. And the plant pots were just out of shot. In the background, you have more trees on a background, bit of smoke, and a leaf, like we had that Sam, who's a student, just blowing a leaf blower. Which normally in a film, the sound would not be thrilled about, but we didn't use any, we did all the sound later. And while we were doing it, we thought, this is ridiculous. But then we watched it on the monitor, and we're like, wow, it looks...
And there you go, pushing big, stormy plant leaves
and the leaf blower was blowing the trees over, wasn't it, at one point? It was really...
What's quite nice about it as well is that there are lots of bits, tiny little moments where you're playing with it. Like there's the bit where you're sort of there's the mirage.
Forced perspective.
You literally pick it up, and then there's more of it than you expect.
Or when you reference how long is this going to take, and you say 90 minutes, any longer will be an indulgence.
I love that. I loved so much because the films. I have ADHD, and my ability to be able to sit still limited. So when you're sort of sat in a cinema and you're like, okay, it's been 2 hours, and I know
it's so long now, aren't they? I mean, everything. We were thinking about putting a film on with our son, and in the evening, and everything's 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, and 90 minutes is really perfect.
Some of them need it, and some of them don't. But I just love the knowingness of that line to me. I mean, I've written it down here.
I'm such a fan of 90 minutes. My God, I really am.
Generally.
Also in a play, you know. I think you have to really know your audience, and you know, it's not only you or me are my attention. It's a great thing to know about length.
Yeah, as someone who's sort of utilised performance to express, how hard is it to basically be freewheeling? Because you kind of almost have guide rails on that performance, aren't you? Because here's the character, here's what they're doing, here's where we're going, here's the script. Whereas
I think one of the things is just getting a bit older. Experience
Having access
in life, or being, you know, just being able to handling living, which is hard, you know.
There's so much of it.
There's you know, it's all the time, never stops, does it?
Constantly alive.
Yeah, life on life's terms and all of that
It's
stuff.
just like,
It's difficult.
oh God, another day.
But you know, don't you find another day? But don't you find it's comforting to think that somehow we all must have that thought somewhere in us every day?
But also I think it's that you're a morning person. I think my another day is normally it's the fucking morning. And then by the time we get to lunchtime, I'm like, oh, another day. This is good. I've warmed up to the idea that I'm still alive.
I'm getting very tired sometimes around
that. I wake up feeling positive. I'm quite positive in the morning. I'm like, new start. And then it's sort of... And then in the evening, I'm like, okay, I made it. Yeah, it's okay. Survived. One of the hard things about the job is, you know, you love doing it. It doesn't feel like work a lot of the time, but whenever you do work, you leave your family. And that's always still the hardest part of the job. And that's in there as well, this idea of leaving one another. And I think that, you know, that's relative to Ben and, you know, and all of our relationships in this business. It's always that balance between, you know, it always takes you away from the family.
It's the moment in the kitchen when Aklima says to Harlan, so haven't you done enough for this guy? Hasn't he?
Do you really have to say yes to this job again?
I don't want you to go. I think I don't want you to go. Yeah. One has to learn together. You know, sometimes one might make a mistake as well. You know, but it's that I love talking and I love good communication. You know, saying what's going on. You know, instead of letting someone.
This was new to me. New concept as a Northern English person, where you don't say, you know. There's things that my brother and I have never asked one another in 45 years.
You know, Ben, we just celebrated our 16th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
16 years later, I also learned a lot. I'm better at not always following this instinct of wanting to discuss everything to the... Sometimes I can see the benefit of also... saying, okay.
Yorkshire, good old-fashioned Yorkshire ignorance.
The benefit of stoicism.
You know, obviously, because we live in Berlin together, and there was a language thing at the beginning anyway, where we were communicating in a third or fourth language, and me learning a new one for the first time, but watching how Alex and communicated with her parents, where they'd shared everything. There was no, they each knew how each other felt all the time.
Which is exhausting.
It was
beautiful and exhausting.
But it was like, I couldn't believe it. And I think vice versa, there were certain things where you just thought, you're not saying that to your parents? I was like, why would I do that? I haven't spoken to them about that since, you know, ever.